Welcome back. It is main event time. We're here in Lafayette, Louisiana. The blood feud, the rivalry, the decades-long dislike between these two men come to a head here tonight. Here comes Lawler. Let's lay out for the ring announcer.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Memphis, Tennessee. Weighing in at 235 pounds. Jerry the King Lawler!
Now, the situation going on here is that Jerry the King Lawler does not like the fact that Bret Hitman Hart will be competing in an upcoming Legends tournament on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/arachnidsoul. And Lawler has called out Bret Hart. Lawler wants the spot. Lawler says, Bret, if I can beat you here tonight, I deserve to be in the tournament. Lawler thinking that Bret Hart would back down. Bret Hitman Hart has accepted the challenge. The winner of this match will qualify for the tournament. Jerry the King Lawler out of Memphis, Bret Hitman Hart out of Calgary. These two have not seen eye to eye basically ever, and we're going to see how this thing plays out here momentarily. Let's bring out the Hitman. Many call this man the greatest to ever do it. We're going to lay out.
Representing the Hart Foundation from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Weighing in at 235 pounds. Bret the Hitman Hart!
Jerry the King Lawler being very offended at the fact that Bret Hart has referred to himself as the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Lawler, a former AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Bret Hart, a five-time WWF/WWE World Heavyweight Champion and a two-time WCW World Champion. Also a two-time, if you ask me, winner of the Royal Rumble and a two-time King of the Ring. Bret Hart, a former Tag Team Champion, a former Intercontinental Champion. Lawler also many times held the Southern Heavyweight Championship. Let's get at it. You hear that opening bell. Jerry the King Lawler starting out on Bret Hitman Hart. And Bret Hart, uncharacteristically, not getting a good starting in this match. Lawler staying on his man. So happy to be here. It is your host, Arachnid Soul, the best damn pro wrestling commentator going. And Lawler swinging for the uprights that time. Bret Hart catches the leg. Dragon screw leg whip. If this thing gets technical, it will go to the Hitman. The Hitman will be looking for that sharpshooter, that signature finisher that he has. Jerry Lawler, on the other hand, will be looking for either the diving fist drop off the middle rope or that nasty pile driver. The pile driver actually illegal, actually banned in Memphis. Did not stop Jerry the King Lawler from using it, as we see Bret Hart with that trademark backbreaker. These two have fought in the past in the King of the Ring tournament. Very storied was that match. Bret Hart at one point locking Jerry the King Lawler in a sharpshooter for almost 5 minutes, refusing to break it. Lawler having to crawl to the back off camera. The back spasms. I understand that Jerry the King Lawler's back was never the same. Bret shoots his man into the corner. Runs over. Runs up. There's a monkey flip. Bret Hart, lateral press. Hooks the far leg. And only got a 2 count. Bret Hitman Hart from the storied Hart family. Trained in the storied Hart family dungeon by his father Stu Hart. One of the great shooters of all time. Lawler that time. Belly to back suplex. And now stomping a hole in the Hitman. Jerry the King Lawler now with the camel clutch. We're going to see if Bret Hart has what it takes to fight out of this. Bret Hart was a guy who, in his entire WWE career, never submitted, never tapped out. We think about that I Quit match that he had at WrestleMania 13 against Stone Cold Steve Austin. A match that launched Stone Cold Steve Austin, but also solidified Bret Hitman Hart. And it was Bret Hart that time trying to catch Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler went over the top that time, and Bret Hart eventually does catch up with him. And once again, Bret Hart going to the legs. Bret Hart will be setting up for that bread and butter, the sharpshooter, all night. Drops the leg, does Bret Hitman Hart. Nicely done, had some hang time on it. And now picks up Jerry the King Lawler and slams him. The crowd firmly behind the Hitman here tonight. Both of these men want to get into that Legends tournament. More Legends will be announced in weeks to come. Bret Hitman Hart picking his man up. Lawler sent to the corner. No! Lawler shoving Bret Hart off. Didn't want to get punched in the face. And Lawler decides this thing's not going to be technical. This thing's going to be a brawl. And no, Lawler had a chance there, wants to take out a little bit more punishment on the Hitman. Lawler shoots the half, lateral press that time. And a kick out, barely got a 1 count. And when we talk about brawling, we have to think about that empty arena match that Jerry the King Lawler had years ago against Terry Funk. Terry Funk almost losing an eye in that match. European uppercut, back of the skull that time from Jerry the King Lawler. Very nicely done. We thank you for joining us here tonight, WWF Monday Night Raw. We hope you like the set, the throwback set that we have. And there's a European uppercut from the Hitman, who just dropped the elbow. And now once again, Bret Hitman Hart all over the skull of Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler, one of the greatest wrestlers ever to come out of the South. I mean, we think about some of those matches that Lawler had against everybody from Bill Dundee, and we think about the matches that he had in the AWA when he won that championship. So many great encounters Jerry the King Lawler has had even before becoming a full-time announcer for the WWF. Backhand knife edge chop sends the Hitman down, and now Lawler putting the boots to him once again. Bret Hart, dragon screw leg whip. Now goes to the leg, does Bret Hart, and there's that knee bar. As we've said previously, if this thing continues on the mat, it does favor Bret Hart. Bret Hart, arguably the best technical wrestler of the past 30 years in this sport. Many call him the all-time GOAT of professional wrestling. Many will tell you he's the greatest WWF World Heavyweight Champion in history. I would agree with all of those claims. Lawler now, standing drop kick. Nicely done. Tops Bret Hart, only got a 2 count. And Bret Hart looks out of it. Bret Hart reeling here. And we talked about the pile driver. We talked about the fist drop. And speak of the devil, here's the pile driver. He just got him. Lawler's gonna beat the Hitman. Tops his man. Oh, 2.9, and Bret Hart able to sneak that shoulder up off the canvas. The fans now here rally behind both of these men, chanting fight forever. Lawler gonna look for that fist drop, and if he hits it, no. And there's a sleeper hold from Bret Hart. The rear naked choke, and Bret's gonna get him. Bret wearing down Jerry the King Lawler here. Lawler's going out. And we're going to see if the Hitman can finish him off. He has that choke in. Jawbreaker. And Bret Hart now on the fireman's carry. Slides down the back. Looking to grab Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler blocking it. Bret Hart rolls to the outside. Thinks a little better of things. And now back into the ring is Bret Hitman Hart. Front face lock. Takes Lawler up and over with the suplex. Lawler landed very awkwardly there in the corner. Bret shoots his man off. Pulls him back. There's a headbutt. And it looks like Jerry the King Lawler has been lacerated here. And Bret Hart likes it so much he's going for more. He's going to open the King up. Bret picks his man up now. Center ring. There's a boot. And a nasty DDT. And Bret Hart feeling the love here from the fans here tonight in Lafayette, Louisiana. Lawler now, once again, sent to the corner. Lawler already busted open. And this won't help the cause. Bret shoved off. Lawler catches Bret that time. Sends Bret to the ropes. Traps the arm, and now Lawler working on the arm of Bret Hitman Hart. Bret Hart, inside cradle, small package. No. And I think part of the issue between Bret and Jerry the King Lawler, very similar to the issues that we saw between Bret and Nature Boy Ric Flair, as Bret Hart now sends Jerry the King Lawler to the outside. And I don't think Bret's done. I think Bret's going to give chase here. This thing's breaking down. Lawler was always told he was the best wrestler, and he was the best wrestler in the South. You talk about Nature Boy Ric Flair, he was told he was the best wrestler, and for where he wrestled, he was. But Bret Hart up north was the man. Stomping the knee now of Jerry the King Lawler, the Bloody King. Bret Hart picks his man up. There's a boot from Lawler. And Lawler now unceremoniously dumps the Hitman out to the arena floor. You got to wonder who this thing's going to favor. Bret Hart, always called a very good technical wrestler, but always had that brawling edge to him. That might have been a mistake. Jerry the King Lawler went up top and then decided he was going to come back down. Lawler, fireman's carry there. Bret, reverse DDT. Picks his man up, does Bret Hitman Hart. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a receipt. It's a pile driver on King Jerry Lawler. And Bret opting not to even go for a cover there. Sends the King off to the corner, does the Hitman. Bret Hart now, known for doing this. He's going to go all the way up top. There's that superplex. Bret landed very hard himself. Jerry Lawler reeling. And now Bret steps through the uprights. And here it comes. There's that sharpshooter. And Lawler taps out. Bret Hart will be competing in the Legends Tournament, as he's just defeated the legendary Jerry the King Lawler. Bret Hart gets the Duke here tonight in Lafayette. Let's go to some replays. It was early on, Jerry the King Lawler actually toying with Bret Hitman Hart. Then shot a half, went in for a lateral press. Lawler might have had him had he not tried that. Standing drop kick. Very agile is Jerry the King Lawler when he wants to be. There's that trademark pile driver. Look how close this was. Bret Hart just narrowly at 2.9 getting the shoulder up. We saw the inside cradle, the small package from the excellence of execution. And here was a receipt. Jumping sit-out pile driver from the Hitman himself. It was then a superplex and a sharpshooter. And Bret Hart walks out here victorious. Fans, as always, it has been your host, the best damn pro wrestling announcer going, Arachnid Soul, and I thank Fight Night's Finest for the opportunity to post this match on his channel. Fans, thank you, and good night.